Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Sourcing Under webinar. Today, the topic of the webinar is Challenges Recruiter Face and Why Candidates Are Blamed, which will be presented by Raj Pillai, Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist, Zodian Solutions. Before we start with the webinar, I would like you all to introduce you to Sourcing Adda for those who are new to our webinar. Sourcing Adda is a community for recruiters and sources to come together and discuss new techniques and trends in the recruitment industry. At Sourcing Adda, we conduct various activities which includes tweet chats, meetups, webinars, and sourcing contests. After the success of SPL1, now we have organized SPL2, which is ongoing, and the level 2 of SPL is being live. So for those who are participating, all the best. After SPL2, we will have the most awaited annual event, which is TaskCon 16, and it would be held on 14th April 2016. Now, moving on to today's webinar, which is being presented by Raj on challenges recruiters face and why candidates are blamed. Raj, you please give your brief introduction and then you can go ahead and start with the webinar.
Sure. Thanks, Neha. Good evening, friends. This is Raj Pillai, your host for today. Hope you're all having a great day. Firstly, thanks to all of you for taking out your valuable time to attend this webinar. So before I go on to the topic, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Raj Pillai. I'm basically from Pune, a recruitment professional holding 8.7 years of experience into recruitments. Currently working with Zorin Solutions, taking care of staffing and project hiring, mostly in charge of niche hiring. And coming to recruitments, I love recruitments and hold a special interest in networking and social media hiring. I like reading and collecting articles related to recruitments. So coming to Sourcing Atta, I have been a part of Sourcing Atta family since last June, and a big thanks to the Sourcing Atta team for giving me this opportunity to present something related to recruitments. So now going ahead to today's topic, my topic for today is challenges recruiters face and why candidates are blamed. I'm pretty sure this topic sounds quite basic, but a lot goes into actually following the basics. So let's have a look. So the recruitment industry always has a talk which blames the candidates for various reasons. And let's have a look at the top 5 reasons as to why recruiters blame candidates. So one is candidates not turning up for interviews as promised. This is quite a common problem faced by every recruiter as the entire recruitment cycle gets affected, leading to wastage of time and efforts. The second probable reason is candidates accepting multiple offers and rejecting it at the last moment, rejecting our offers at the last moment, again leading to wastage of time and efforts. The third reason could be candidates not providing proper details when asked about their job profile, their projects. The fourth reason is candidates lying to recruiters about projects, salary, personal details, etc. And finally, the last reason could be candidates saying yes to other conditions like relocation, travel, shifts, and finally declining the offer stating the same reason. So now, though being a recruiter, we can't really blame candidates completely for all the above reasons. As I feel most of the recruiters are not doing their job properly. I mean, job in detail, I would say, considering deadlines and SLS. So let's have a look at how recruiters can reduce these blames. So as recruiters, it's our duty, capability to understand our candidates well and then take a call whether the candidate is actually interested in the job opportunity presented to them. So again, here I would like to highlight the top 5 problems and solutions in detail that would really help reduce the blame game to some extent. So the first point would be spending more time with the candidates over the phone. Now it is extremely important how much time each recruiter spends with their candidates. The logic is basically the more time you spend with your candidates, the more you understand about them. So the time duration varies for a recruiter and a sourcer. So if you're a recruiter, you need to spend at least 8 minutes with each candidate. And if you're a sourcer, then you need to spend at least 3 minutes with each candidate. So the duration again differs and varies from recruiter to recruiter. The timing that I mentioned here is for the Indian market. It differs based on the market that you are serving, along with the set of questions that you would be asking the candidates. So the logic is pretty simple. The more you speak or ask questions, the more you understand the candidate. The more you understand the candidate, the more you build a better relationship with the candidate. And the more you build a relationship with the candidates, there are more chances that the candidates can join your company. So in this way, the candidate too gets to know a lot about your company, the kind of role he would be playing here, which in turn develops a good interest level in the candidate. Now, I do agree there are few candidates who might not be interested to speak for long as they might be in the office or busy with some meeting. So how do we solve this problem? I mean, well, let's go back to our basic etiquettes of asking the candidates whether it's the right time to speak. If not, what would be the suitable time to call? And do let them also know how much time the call is going to take. So in this way, the candidate gets a good feel about the recruiter. Now coming to the second point, which is asking the right questions to the candidates, which is extremely important. So now we are done with spending time with the candidates, getting the details and all that. But are we asking the right questions? So a right question starts with an objective. So your objective is to find the objective of the candidate as to why he or she is looking for a job change. What is the reason behind the job change? Does he or she speak with an interest about the job that you're presenting to them? So now comes the question, did the recruiter get a valid reason or the real reason as to why the candidate is looking for a job change? If it's a Indian market, most candidates give reasons like better opportunity, better salary, better growth, etc. But if it's the US market, most candidates give reasons like contract is coming to an end, etc. So when a candidate says better opportunity, most recruiters don't try to ask as to what kind of better opportunity the candidate is looking for, whether the opportunity is in terms of money or role or what else. So if the recruiter has not tried to understand what that better opportunity is, then one would surely fail to attract the candidate. So do check whether the candidate's expectations about the better opportunity matches and his or her expectations is not more than what you have to offer to the candidate. So if the expectations are not matching with yours, then please don't process those candidates. I mean, if you still go ahead and process those candidates, then there are high possibilities that you have to take the blame game of candidate not attending the interview or declining the offer at the last moment. Now, the next coming to the next part, which is candidate holding multiple offers. So this part is quite tricky, I would say. The most important question the recruiter should ask every candidate is whether they have other offers or whether they are in the final stage of interviews with other companies. So as the job market is quite open, most of the candidates are either actively or passively exploring opportunities. Few of them are already in the final stages of getting an offer. So if the candidate is a 1 month old candidate in the market, then they should be having some offers or at least some final interviews happening. But this again depends on the market and the industry that you serve. So it is very important for you to know as a recruiter that you need to understand whether the candidate has finalized or about to finalize an offer. So if the candidate has to go through a long interview process and in meantime he gets another offer, post which if you extend the offer he might not be available or might not be interested as he's already made his mind to go ahead with the other offer that is he has in hand. So this part is quite a tricky game is what I would like to term as. So now coming to the next, that is candidates don't not turning up for interviews. So I am quite sure this is the most irritating part every recruiter might come across in a day-to-day basis. So I'm sure every recruiter would find this part very irritating. So this is another big issue that recruiters come across in their hiring process. I understand the cost and time involved will be a waste if the candidate doesn't turn up for the interview. So how do we reduce these dropouts? So the recruiter contacts the candidate, tells him about the opportunity, gets his availability and schedules the interview. So first time you've contacted the candidate, you've told him about the opportunity and the next time you contacted him for an interview schedule. So now when you've contacted him for the interview schedule, have you made the candidate to remember at least your name or the company's name? or at least the client or the position for which he's going to get interviewed for. So if you have not made that first impression, then you have not done your job properly. Every candidate receives multiple calls on daily basis, and most of the candidates just fail to remember as to which recruiter or from which company he's got a call from. So, okay, now coming to the next step, that is you schedule the interview. So did you follow up with the candidate? Did you send a detailed email and meeting invite to the candidate? So did you receive the interview acceptance email from the candidate? So how many times did you follow up with the candidate? Did you wish the candidate best of luck before the interview? Did you get his alternate number in case of emergency? Do you know the best way to reach him anytime? Does the candidate knows the venue? So it is very important as a recruiter that you need to ask these questions to find out the inner mind of the candidates. If you feel dicey somewhere, wherein the candidate says he's not coming down or whatever, ask the candidate directly, and still if you're not satisfied, then drop him right there. Let's not assume for things to happen rightly in spite of a dicey mindset. So if we haven't done all of the above things before the candidate comes in for an interview, then there are less chances that a candidate can turn up for the interview. So doing all these things before the interview has another benefit, that is you build a solid relationship with your candidate that definitely helps you to easily close a position. So the candidate won't, in most candidates won't negotiate much with you, so they get a comfort feel with the recruiter. Now coming to the next, that is candidates lying about various things. This is quite funny, I would say. I do agree most of the candidates may lie to you for various reasons, but though they lie to you, it is your duty, or I can say capability, to find whether he or she is lying or telling the truth. So a few basic reasons given by candidates, for example, I need to rush for an unscheduled meeting. There are some urgent production issues that I need to address. I met with an accident. My grandma passed away, etc. Many more weird reasons I'm sure all of us might have experienced. So as a recruiter, it's our duty to ask more questions to evaluate the candidate, and if you find the candidate lies, then just drop them right there, which would help save our time and efforts. So these are the points which I found, which I thought I would just highlight. I'm sure all of us might have faced all these problems in day-to-day basis. So I would like to conclude this webinar by saying that I strongly feel recruiters have to understand their candidates well and build a strong relationship instead of blaming the candidates for various reasons. So I'm sure if every recruiter asks the right questions and said above, then surely we can reduce the dropout numbers and to an higher extent. So I do agree you cannot make it nil, as there might be few candidates who can still decline your offer and not turn up for the interview. But these questions can surely reduce the dropouts, which would have a huge which would save the hiring cost. So with that, I would like to end the webinar by saying let's stop the blame game. Let's be patient and humble with the candidates. I'm sure on the longer run, the same candidates would come back to you for the job opportunity. So I would like to know your feedbacks and suggestions. So stop blaming, stop hiring, happy recruiting. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Raj, for sharing your knowledge with all of us. And I would just like to know, if or any of the attendees, if you guys have any questions, you can just ask us right now, or if you guys want, you can send us an email, or you have the sourcing at details. You can write to us about any queries if you have regarding the webinar. Thank you so much, Raj.
Thanks.